Hi fellows, you are watching another video with Arash, another video about phrasal verbs, and we are here to talk about separable phrasal verbs. Separable phrasal verbs. Well, phrasal verbs are important. Mastering phrasal verbs is the secret to fluency. Learn as much as phrasal verbs as you can, and this video is dedicated to this purpose. In another video, we talked about the differences between two-word phrasal verbs, three-word phrasal verbs, transitive and intransitive. Well, for a recap, transitive phrasal verbs are the ones that need an object or two objects maybe to be completed. But intransitive phrasal verbs, they don't take or have any object. Transitive phrasal verbs can be either separable or inseparable. Phrasal verbs have two components, a verb and a particle. If we can easily separate these two components with an object in between, we say the verb is separable. So separable phrasal verbs are the ones that the components can separate from each other. On the contrary, with inseparable phrasal verbs, object always follows the phrasal verb. Now, we are going to learn 7 separable phrasal verbs here. Call off, count out, these are separable phrasal verbs. Cut off, must know, 7 must know phrasal verbs. Get across, hand over, pass up, and take back. Hit the subscribe button, and then we start. Separable phrasal verb. For example, turn off the light. Turn is the verb, off is the particle, and the light is the object. Now, turn the lights off. You see that the object, the light, can come between the verb and the particle. So, this is why we call these phrasal verbs separable, because we can move them apart, move the components apart. First phrasal verb, call off. Call off. Call off means to cancel something. It means to decide that something will not happen. For example, to decide that some event won't take place, won't happen. So mostly calling something off is a decision. Now it can be synonym to cancel or abandon. To cancel something, an event, for example, or abandon something. To call off an event. We can also say call an event off. It's separable. Or call off a meeting. We also can say call a meeting off. Call off a strike. To cancel a strike. We can also say call a strike off. Now, examples. The manager called off the meeting. Find the object here. In 3, 2, 1 second. Thank you. The meeting is object, and call off is phrasal verb. Call is the verb and off is the particle. We can separate, we can move these two components apart. Call, the verb here, can come first. Then it follows the object. And then, finally, the particle. Next. They called off the soccer match because of heavy rain. We have one clause here. They is a noun. Called off is a phrasal verb. Now you tell me, what is the object here? What is the object of called off? Exactly, it's the soccer match. A match was cancelled due to heavy rain. As you see in this picture, you see how sad these two children are. They wish they could play football, but the match is cancelled because the weather is not very good. They need to abandon the field. They need to abandon the match. The concert was called off, was cancelled. at the last moment due to technical issues. Called off is our phrasal verb. The sentence is passive, so object is the concept. The sentence starts with object because the sentence is passive. So the concept was called off, the concept object, and called off is our phrasal verb. Number 2, count out. Count something out, or count out something. To remove someone from a list, for example, or remove someone from some consideration. Not to mention someone, for example, somewhere. Count somebody out. So it means exclude someone from somewhere, from something, from a list, from some activity, or eliminate an item or someone or something. Write someone's name off from somewhere. These can be the meanings to count out, and it's a separable verb. Don't count out Robert for promotion yet. Find the object here. Robert is the object here. Don't count out Robert. Also, don't count Robert out. It means do not exclude him. Do not eliminate him for the promotion yet. Include him in your consideration. Don't count out James. He still has a chance to win the competition. Don't count out James. James, our object. Count out, phrasal verb. To count out James, to exclude James, to eliminate James. Don't count him out. Include him in your consideration. He still has a chance to win the competition. Yes, we are talking about James. Don't count him out. He's going to win. Don't exclude him from the game. Maybe he is injured. He is not as strong as he is supposed to, but he is capable still to continue the match. So, do not count him out. He still has a chance to win the competition. The coach counted me out. Maybe this sentence is said by the James himself. The coach counted me out. Me is a pronoun. Let me tell you some tip here. Count me out. When the object is pronoun, you always put the object between the verb and the particle. Count me out. Count him out. Count her out. You always put the pronoun if it is the object to a phrasal verb, a separable phrasal verb. You always put it between the verb and the particle. This is a must. This is a tip. The coach counted me out for the game because of my injury. Yes, the coach finally didn't approve of James continuing the game due to his injury. So count out someone or count someone out. Count out the possibility. It means not to consider some possibility, to remove it from consideration, or count the possibility out, and don't count out. These are some collocation you need to bear in mind. And now cut off. Cut off. Cut something off or cut off something. It means to interrupt or stop something. For example, if you cut electricity off, you're disconnecting, you're interrupting the flow of electricity. So it means interrupt or disconnect easily. Disconnect. For example, the storm cut off the entire village. The storm cut off the entire village. What is the object here? Can you tell me? Yes, the object here is the entire village. So we can put the object between cut and off, these two components. The storm cut the village, the entire village, off. It means the roads that led to the village were banned, were shut off, they were closed off because of the storm, so nobody could go to the village, could enter the village, nobody could get out of the village because the roads were disconnected and maybe telephone lines, maybe airlines, they were interrupted. No airplane could enter the village, or no phone could get through. No one from inside the village could telephone anyone outside the village. So when these situations happen, we say a city is cut off. The company cut off internet access. Internet access is our object because it follows the phrasal verb cut off. The company cut off internet access to the entire building during maintenance. Apparently, there was a maintenance happening. They were repairing the internet. So they disconnected the internet. We say they cut the internet access off. They cut off the internet access. So we can use cut off for roads, for airlines, for telephone lines. Our phone call was cut off when I entered the elevator. Our phone call was cut off because in the elevator there was no possibility to talk with your phone. So cut off power, cut the power off, cut off communication, and cut off supplies. These are 3 collocations that you may see with cut off, meaning disconnect. Next, get across. Get across. Get something across, or get across something. It means to explain your idea. When you manage to get your ideas across, it means you can easily explain your ideas. You can communicate your ideas to other people. So it means to transfer your opinion, your idea in a brilliant way, in a bright way, in a clear way. So get across is a synonym to communicate. It is a synonym to convey. For example, the teacher got across her point effectively. You tell me, what is the object here? And the answer is her point. Her point is the object here. The teacher explained her point, communicated her point effectively. The teacher got her point across effectively. More examples. She struggled to get across the main point. Get across the main point. Communicate the main point, the object here, of her presentation to the audience. This is my sentence here. She struggled to get across the main point. Next, I managed to get my ideas across, to explain my ideas. After explaining them a few times, to communicate my ideas after explaining them, trying over and over a few times. You see, this is the picture of someone trying to explaining his idea very clearly. He is trying to getting his point across. We can say, get across an idea, get a message across, or get across the point. These are some collocations with get across that you can use. Vocabulary number 5. Hand over. Hand over. Hand something over, or hand over something. When you hand over something, you give someone the control of that thing. You give someone the responsibility of that thing. When you hand over a job or a job position to someone, you take the control of that position, of that job, to somebody. So you transfer that job position. You give someone else that job. You assign somebody else to control that job position, for example. Transfer. You transfer something. You give somebody something. For example, he handed over the keys. Means give easily. Give. Take somebody the control of. Take somebody the responsibility of. Or give. He handed over the keys to the new tenants. Okay? What is the object here? The keys are the object here. They can either come between handed and over and after handed over. He handed over, he gave the keys to the new tenant. He also handed the keys over to the new tenant. This is hand over meaning give. The officer asked him to hand over his license. Again, hand over meaning give. His license is the object. And registration. The officer asked this person to hand over his keys and registration. Hand over means give here. And after years of running the family business, he finally handed it over to his son. Now, this is another meaning for hand over, meaning give somebody the responsibility of. He finally gave the responsibility of the family business to his son. So he transferred the power. He transferred the business to his son. You see the difference? Give or transfer. Two meanings for hand over. Hand something over or hand over something. Here it is a pronoun. Again, back to that important tip. Since it is a pronoun, we cannot say hand over it. We are not allowed to put the object, which is a pronoun, after the phrasal verb. After the separable phrasal verb. Always when we have separable phrasal verbs, we put the object pronoun between the verb and the particle, not after it. Handed it over, because our object is a pronoun. Pass up. Pass up. Pass something up or pass up something. What does it mean? Pass up means miss. You have an opportunity and you need to take advantage of that. If you can't take advantage of some benefit, of some, opportunity, you pass up that. You pass that opportunity up. So it means miss. It means decline. For example, I won't pass this opportunity. I will use this opportunity to my advantage. So it's easy to say opportunity is the object. This opportunity is our object. Also, I won't pass this opportunity up, the second sentence. Okay? We can say to pass up an opportunity, to miss up an opportunity, to pass up a chance, to miss a chance, or pass up a deal, decline or miss a deal. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to travel to Europe on a free trip. You see, opportunities like this, to traveling somewhere on a free trip. Well, we're talking about this guy. He has an opportunity to travel to Europe for free. That is perfect. This is something that you shouldn't pass up. Don't pass up such opportunities. Take advantage of them. You shouldn't have passed the job up. You should have accepted it because it was perfect for you. So you shouldn't decline a job. Pass the job here is the object, apparently. The last word is take back. Take back. Take something back or take back something. It's so easy. It means to give something back, to regain it, to regain something that you owned, something that you had, something that is for you, something that is yours. You take it back easily. To retrieve it, to reclaim it. I'll take back the sweater I lent you. I'll take the sweater back I lent you. Well, the sweater here is obviously the object. I retrieve it, I regain it, I take it back. She decided to take back the sweater she lent me last week. We are talking about this sweater. She, this lady, lent the sweater to this guy a week ago, and now she is regaining it, she is retrieving it, She is taking it back. She is taking back the sweater. After reconsidering, he took his words back. So if you take your words back, you act humble, you apologize as if you haven't said those words, and apologized for the misunderstanding. So also you can take your words back, retrieve them. Take back something, take something back, take back control, or take back your words. These are some collocations that you can use with take back. For recap, we're going to read the text in which we practice all the phrasal verbs that we've learned. A day full of surprises. Last week, we were supposed to have a company picnic, but the boss called off the event due to bad weather. Call off means cancel. I didn't mind at first because I wasn't sure I'd enjoy it, but I started feeling bad after they cut off the power to the office. They disconnected the power to the office. Apparently, some maintenance work has been scheduled that day, and we all had to go home. Just when I thought the day couldn't get worse, I got a call from a friend who was asking for some help in getting her point across, explaining her opinion, her point, communicating her point in a presentation. I handed over my notes. I transferred my notes from a previous project to help her out. I knew I couldn't pass up the chance to relax afterward. I couldn't miss the opportunity, miss the chance to relax afterward, to get some rest. Later, I decided to go for a walk, but I had to go take back, retrieve, reclaim a jacket I had lent to my neighbor before I left. I didn't want to count out the possibility of the weather changing again. I didn't want to exclude that out of my possibility list, out of my consideration. So I wanted to think about the possibility of the weather changing again. I wanted to pay attention to this possibility. I didn't want to count it out. It's always unpredictable in this city. It was a day full of surprises, but at least I got some rest. Here we are. You have learnt 7 phrasal verbs in 20 minutes. Do you want to learn more? I'm going to record more videos on phrasal verbs. Follow me. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and watch the next video. I'm going to record another video about inseparable phrasal verbs. So see you there.